All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on how the world's biggest companies manage to get you the products you love right when you want them. We're diving into the intelligent engine of the global supply chain, SAP APO.
So let's get things off with a question that, affects every single one of us. How is it that your favorite stuff always seems to be on the shelf? Behind that simple purchase is this massive, mind-bending global puzzle of prediction, production, and logistics. And that puzzle, well, that's the daily headache for these huge global companies. They're in a constant balancing act between what we, the customers, want and what they can actually make and deliver. And if they get it wrong, you're looking at empty shelves on one side and warehouses overflowing with stuff nobody wants on the other.
For years, one of the most powerful weapons for solving this puzzle has been a system that acts like the central nervous system, the brain, really, of the entire supply chain.
So what is SAP APO exactly? The easiest way to think about it is as a crystal ball for business. Instead of just reacting to sales after they happen, it uses smart algorithms and live data to plan way ahead. It's all about making that critical jump from being reactive to being predictive.
And what's wild when you look at this list is the sheer range of industries that count on this level of planning. We're talking about everything from the car you drive, to the medicine you might take, to the groceries you buy. It just goes to show how universal this planning problem really is.
Okay, so how does this brain actually do its thing? How does it take all that global chaos and somehow spit out a single, coherent plan? Well, it all boils down to a pretty clear, logical process.
And this right here, this is the core logic in a nutshell. APO grabs all the historical data, uses it to predict the future, and then figures out the best way to make and move everything. Then, and this is key, it sends that master plan back down to the company's main operational system, the ERP, to actually carry it out. So you can think of APO as the strategist and the ERP as the soldier on the ground executing the orders.
Now, let's break down that brain into its specialized parts. Each one is designed to answer a huge business question. First up, you've got demand planning, or DP. Its job is to answer, what are we actually going to sell? Next, production planning, or PP/DS, answers the follow-up question. All right, so how are we going to make all that stuff? This is all about the nitty-gritty of scheduling the factory floor. Then you have supply network planning, or S&P. This one zooms out and asks, okay, what's the most efficient way to move our inventory between all our factories, warehouses, and distribution centers? And finally, we get to global ATP. And this is the one that really matters to you and me. It answers the question, can we promise this to the customer right now? This is the magic behind getting that instant, reliable delivery date when you click Buy online.
But you know how it is, technology doesn't just sit still. APO has been an absolute powerhouse for decades, but its successor is already here. And it's a total game changer, because it's moving everything to the cloud.
This slide really lays it all out. On the left, you've got classic APO, super powerful, but it lives on a company's own physical servers. On the right, you have its successor, SAP IBP. The big deal here? IBP is cloud-based, which means it's way more flexible, it's easier to use, and it can tap into much more powerful AI and real-time analytics.
So what's the big takeaway for anybody working in this space? It's simple. The whole industry is migrating. Understanding this journey from the old on-premise world of APO to the new cloud-based world of IBP isn't just a nice-to-have. It is absolutely essential for your career.
Let's just zoom back out for a second. It is so easy to get lost in all the technical jargon, right? But let's connect all of this back to the real world and see why a system like this has such a direct impact on all of our lives. Just picture it. A huge electronics company is about to launch a new phone. They use a system like this to predict that insane spike in demand, to coordinate production across factories in maybe 3 different countries, and to make sure all the parts get where they need to go. It's how they can look you in the eye and promise you that new gadget on launch day. And, of course, this incredibly complex world creates a ton of amazing, high-demand careers. Companies are desperate for people who can speak both languages, the language of this powerful tech and the language of real-world business logistics. And that quote right there really just nails it, doesn't it? This whole thing is about moving beyond gut feelings and messy spreadsheets. It's about letting organizations predict what's coming, plan for it realistically, and make promises to customers that they can actually keep. So if APO was the brain for the supply chain of yesterday, and its successor, IBP, is the brain for today and tomorrow, it leaves us with a pretty cool question to think about.
As these planning engines get smarter and more automated, what becomes the next great puzzle for the humans who run these global supply chains?